All right, we are live. What's going on, fellow traders? Let me get this pulled up here. All right, there we go. Let me get everything situated here. Sorry, just 1 second. Just trying to get everything organized. Trying to get organized for tonight's discussion, and just time just creeped up on me there. So let me get this tweeted out. I can find out where I posted this. 1 sec. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. All right, go internet, go. Here we go. There we are. All right, so let me retweet. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, retweet. Gosh, internet's a little slow tonight. There we go. Yep, just gotta open up a little box there, and then there we go. All right. So yeah, we are live. To see bubble head laugh. Awesome. All right. Whew. What's going on, fellow traders? Hope everybody had a great trading day today. So yes, this is where we're at. Let's take a look at the SPX and see what happened today. So down 3 points, but it sure felt like more than that because we gapped up so much, right? So I think we were up, what was it, at one point in the middle of the night, it was like 15 points, gapping up and all that, and then, all the way faded down to -3. So it's actually a pretty big moving day, although where we're at is, yeah, like a bit below that. So anyway, sorry, just had like a bunch of tweets just come out at once. So anyway, here we are in the month. So still a green month, right? We came off the all-time highs, which is kind of this upper Bollinger Band area on the monthly chart. So still green, a couple days left in the month. So I imagine that we'll finish green. I mean, it is possible we could test these 2,900 levels based on the open gaps on the daily, which we'll look at in a little bit. But even so, that'd still give us a pretty decent green month this month. So weekly chart, though, on the other hand, is a little bit, all right? So this is inside week so far, and we'll talk more about inside bars, today. We talk about them all the time, but it is worth it to kind of go through and talk about it a little bit. So so we have inside week so far red. Okay, so could be a possible reversal signal, but I don't know. We'll see. Very, very bearish here. 4 red days in a row. Wait, we haven't seen 4 red days in a row since back in May, right? And then we had like kind of a doji day after that, a couple lower days, and then it hit the lower Bollinger Band and kind of went from there. So it is possible, right? It is possible that we could fill this gap right here and even not only test the 50 moving average, but the mid Bollinger Band, right here, and then the cloud. So it is possible. But is this going to happen in the next 2 days? We'll see. I mean, it'd be fun to trade for sure. But futures are up right now, so if we are downtrending and we gap up tomorrow, it might be another fadeable. Thursday is getting a very high chance of fading gaps, so we could see if we could start to fill those tomorrow. Look at that hourly chart. Look at how many red bars there were. Right? Oh, there's a green one, also an inside bar, and then down. So interesting stuff there. These are the levels that we look at for positive trend elite subscribers or elite service subscribers. We tweet these out every day. These have got today's data. Yep. And so just to give us something, these are levels that we use. These are floor pivot levels that we use. I also add a couple other key ones, which are the highs, lows, and close. That tells us where the gaps are from the prior day if we're going to fade something. And then these volume levels too. So that kind of gives positive trend subscribers just a little bit of a stay on top of the market for trading intraday. And there's also scripts in there that they could use for other stocks if they need to, but here we go. So today we gapped up, right? So you can see here this level here, the prior day's close is the kind of the gap from the open. So anytime you gap up like that, you still look at that as somewhat of a magnet. We couldn't get quite to this top level here. Nice push down through the daily pivot level in the cloud. Came back up. This is a real nice bounce off of the daily pivot right here. These options here doubled off of just this one bar because of expiration day. Give a little bit of bear flag here, and then a push, and then chop basically for the rest of the morning. In the afternoon, we had kind of a little tweezer top here. Didn't quite get to the daily pivot, but finally broke down out of this upward trend line, gave you that minor pivot, and then broke to the downside there. You can see I've got the alligator up from yesterday. And then here, right, we had another downward trend line, possible move. Didn't get a lot of follow through, and then we just kind of dropped and then chopped for the rest of the day. And then a little bit of a drop at the end. Also after that, the alligator jaw, and and the EMA here. So we have that, and let's take a look at the daily chart. Daily chart is still looking at the daily bar chart is still looking pretty interesting. So we've been working our way through this channel all the way since the beginning of 2018, and then broke down here at the end of 2019. Christmas reversal got us back into the channel, and then in this pitchfork level, and now we're at this resistance zone, right? So we got through it. It was supposed to become support, and right now we're just kind of poking underneath it. So we'll see. It's pivoting there. The stochastics are curled over and pointing straight down, so it does seem like it could possibly fill that gap soon. So that's kind of where we're at right now. So pretty interesting stuff. So tonight, I just want to, I had a few questions today, and just kind of wanted to just do a session just talking about inside bars. We've done it before in the price action series. You guys know we like to see those all the time. I'll tweet them out and I'll say them here. But we kind of want to get a little more discussion on that today. So let me pull up a few slides that I worked on here. So we'll switch over there. Okay, so understanding the inside bar, right? See, they're inside a bar, right? So, but anyway, so understanding the inside bar. So how do we trade these, and what do we look for? So, so right here, right, we say inside bars, right, represent indecision. Okay, price indecision. Okay, so this I just took a little clip here. This is from I believe it's from Netflix yesterday, and you can actually see this purple line here. That's the VWAP, right? But anyway, here's this first bar right here. Okay, so it made a high and it made a low, and it gave a real body. Okay, the next bar, so you can see we closed right here. Right, so the next bar kind of opened down a little bit, right? So it kind of gapped down a little bit from where we closed. Okay, and then is like probably was like, okay, let me try to go down here. No, I don't want to go down there. Let me try up here. No, I don't really feel like going up there. And then I kind of came back in. So it's basically saying, which way do I go? I don't know, right? It's inside this bar. It doesn't it doesn't decide where to go. It doesn't make a decision of where to go. So this is a very good example. Inside bars are great. You've heard the term price discovery, right? So price likes to kind of likes to test levels, and it likes to go to different areas. And when it goes inside, it gives us as traders an advantage to kind of follow that price discovery, right? And so and that's why I like to use the VWAP too, because if we're under it, it gives us a nice way to look to go down, right? So let's just I carried this out a little bit just to show. This was that inside bar under the VWAP, and look what happened. So price, it kind of closed up here. Or that was the closing area up here, and then it opened right here. Right? It looks like it tried to go up a little bit, and then it said no. So what it wanted to do is wanted to test below these levels, right? So it was inside this level, and then it's let me test below, and it tested it pretty well, right? So it pushed below it very, very nicely, okay? And then continued and continued and continued. So this is a really, really great trade, off of an inside bar right there. And they're easy to trade too, because you just put your stop on top of the inside bar. In this case, it's right over the VWAP. So I mean, if it broke there anyway, you'd want to be out, right? So this is a classic example of a break, and all you have to do is you basically just draw your levels on the top and bottom of that bar. And then you just try to trade a break out of it or a breakdown, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. So that's the simplest way to trade an inside bar. Now, we wish they all would go like that, right? They don't always do that. That's why I've got sets of rules. For instance, like I'll only go short of it if it's under the VWAP on the hourly chart. I'll only go long if it's over the VWAP on the hourly chart. And then it has to do with the general direction of the market is too, right? Is the VIX going up, and stuff like that. But it just gives you a little bit more confirmation that you can trade these. So this gives you another example right here. So here's another inside bar. This is actually from AGN the other day. So AGN, right, was for Positive Trend newsletter subscribers. This was our trade of the week actually, and so it ended up working out really, really well. So we got an inside bar. This is the first bar right here. This bar went inside it. Why is it inside it? Because the high is below the high of the prior bar, and the low is above the prior low of that bar. Right, below the prior bar. Okay, so that was an inside bar. So when you look at this, you're like, okay, well maybe I'll trade a breakout of it, or I'll trade a breakdown. Okay, so this is on our long radar. So when it broke down, I just looked at it as a pullback, right? Pullback opportunity. Okay, so that's what happened. So here's the same bar right here, and it broke down, but it did not break to the downside. In fact, what it did is it started to reclaim that range, right? And then it closed to finish the day. This is the daily bars, and it finished the day right here. So what does that mean? All right, so this is another example of looking at inside bar, right? So what happened is that it couldn't break to the downside. It broke down, but not much, right? It was mostly just kind of scalpish, right, off of this bar. And so what happens is it comes back into the range, right? What's it doing? It's discovering price. It was kind of resting in the middle here. It's like saying, okay, I just kind of want to sit around here. Let me try down. right? Okay, well, that was rejected, right? So this actually makes it a little bit more interesting, right? Because what it does is it says the next bar should at least, it has a very good probability of at least testing the high of that bar to at least try to break out there. Now, it might go up and come down and then stay inside, right? But at least, for, kind of swing purposes, right, gives you that kind of, feeling. It's like, hey, this is going to, test these levels up here, right? So, and we'll just put a stop down here, right? So it's kind of the concept, right? And so, anyway, lo and behold, the next day, this is what happened with AGN. Got bought out by another company. So that price discovery here and kind of using that kind of almost projected, this move right here. Now, obviously, this is extreme case. Doesn't happen all the time. And the reason we looked to swing this one from the newsletter is not because of this, because there was a Morningstar reversal before. It was really strong. We had a bullish engulfing week. There was lots of stuff. There was also some chatter going on with breakup news for AGN. So in other words, there was stuff kind of in the works here. But it is interesting how price does this. It lets you know what's going on behind the scenes. Right, it's like, hey, I really want to go up, right? You see what I'm saying? So it had this inside bar, broke to the downside, but failed, and came back inside it saying, hey, I really want to go up. Now going up like this is crazy, right? And but that's what it did, right? Because of the buyout. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to cover that. That gives you an example of an inside bar that fails, right? But gives you a new possible direction for it to go. Right, so it's just dealing with price discovery. And this is true price action, right? So it's not using indicators. It's not using, you can use indicators like for confirmation and all that stuff, but it's actually literally watching the price move and kind of seeing how it tests its levels, right? And that's what I like about it so much. And so, last, I just kind of want to conclude here with these two types of bars, the NR4 and the NR7. These end up being pretty powerful bars. The NR4 means the narrowest range bar in 4. You can say days, but basically in 4 bars, right? And then the NR7 is the narrowest range bar in 7 bars. And so the idea of these is, and I don't have an example of it here, but we can take a look at the chart just to kind of see. So the other day, we were looking at SPX, and it had a really narrow range day. And so this one, okay, so it's only 10.87, right? So what does that mean? It basically means it was a really narrow range day, and it was the narrowest range day in a while. So we had one from back here. This was 9.97. Okay, so it definitely was the narrowest range in 4 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so these are special bars when you have a narrow range day, and then here it broke to the downside and pushed down. So so what else we like is a narrow range inside bar, which makes it even more powerful, right? And I didn't have time to find an example of one of these, but they're very rare on SPX. But you can see them sometimes. Let's see, Amazon had one, I don't know, a couple months ago. And let's just take a quick look at it and see if we can see a narrow range. So here, this is actually an inside bar right here. This is 16.48. This was 15. All right, so it wasn't the narrowest range in that amount of time. Here was 18. Okay. But 18, this was an inside bar. 18, 17 there. Okay, so, but narrowest range in 4 days, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, so this was a narrow range inside day. Okay, so we look after these bars, and they don't have to happen on the exact next bar, but we look for movement after those, or especially if it's inside. So here's an NR4 inside bar. And then, yesterday, basically kind of gave a push to the downside, and then 2 days ago, and then yesterday gave a really nice push. So you can see those contraction bars do lead to expansion, right? And I found them to be particularly powerful if they're inside a prior range bar. Amazon does this occasionally. Let's see. So so here was an inside bar. There's another one that was 23.91. Nope. Here's an inside bar. Definitely the narrowest range here. This is 24.8. All these were pretty long bars. So here we are, inside bar, and this actually might have been an NR7. So this is 24.8. Yep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, this is definitely an NR7 bar. It's even probably an NR20 bar. So here's a great example. So this is NR7. So inside bar, right? It was completely contained by that bar. And then look what happened. So your contraction led to expansion. Big move right here. And then it got even really big follow through right here, all the way down, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So shorting here, right? Granted, this got close to filling a gap, but if kept a stop right above that bar, if you're a swing trader, look at that. That NR7 bar ended up moving 1852 all the way down to 1670, almost 200 points off of Amazon just by seeing that signal. So that's why I get pretty excited about it, when I see these, right? So granted, this is not an NR. I think this is an NR4 bar, didn't we say? I can't remember. No, just an inside bar, and it's at some cloud support and all that stuff. So we'll take a look to see if it breaks to the upside or downside tomorrow. But I get really excited when I see a very narrow range inside bar, especially an NR4 or an NR7 on those. So that's definitely a couple interesting ones to look at. So that's pretty much all I had to talk about there on the inside bars. But it's really important. Again, these can be used on any time frame. They don't just have to be used on the daily. I like to trade them on the hourly, intraday, especially on stocks that are kind of gapping stocks on some news or something like that. Something that's a little bit exciting. Like Facebook today. Let's take a look. Facebook got interesting. I don't know if we had the didn't have much of an inside deal today. But we did certainly have, one here that kind of carried into the next day, on these inside bars. Netflix, we just looked at an example there, like through the chart. So I hope you guys find that helpful. It's a really interesting topic. They're really fun to trade. Like I said, you can do them on any time frame. And so just kind of keep that in mind. But on the daily, they're definitely worth taking note if you're a swing trader. They're also worth taking note, too, on the weekly chart, but you need to know what you're looking at, right? So just because it's an inside bar, it doesn't have to be... It doesn't have to move, right? Because you have to know the stock that you're trading, right? So when TTD gave a double inside bar right here on the weekly, right? We talked about this in the live stream, when this was happening. We talked about it, possible straddle, and then what were they, like $11 here, and then they end up going to like $50 on this move. So that's how compressed. We know TTD can move, right? So it was chopping around a little bit, but it's very rare that it give a double inside week, right? So we know that it can give like really big range bars, and that is exactly what we got after that. From contraction led to expansion. So, but you see it on stuff like CRM. You get these inside bars on CRM and they just don't move, right? They move, but then they chop around and they give you these. They get real wicky, right? So here we had an inside day right here, but then the next day it just kind of broke down and gave you these upper shadows. Makes it really, really tough to trade. And then here you had an inside bar as well. So you just have to know the stock that you're trading too. Amazon we know is gonna move. TTD is something that's gonna move. CRM we know is one that's gonna chop, like Lulu, CRM, like weird stocks like that. But if you can catch something like this on like Microsoft or even Tesla, if you can catch a narrow range inside day on Tesla, you can really get some moves off of them. Okay, cool. Complete. What's going on, everybody? Call Saul, how's it going? Hey, best kept secret. Good evening. Nikolai, what's going on? What's up? I see you. Sarah, how are you? Good to see you. Good evening. Jason Liu, hey guys. Nudie Poo, hello. Overstock and Facebook. So let's take a look at Overstock, OSTK. OSTK perked up a little bit. I definitely heard some news feed on it today through the Benzinga squawk. I didn't hear what the news was, but I heard it was getting perky. And so yesterday it had a nice, Yorikiri bar, nice belt hold bar right here. After a couple, not inside days, but, kind of narrow range doji type days at a low. Right, kind of at a volumetric level too, and at the Bollinger Band. So remember, dojis at key levels, right, can be reversals, right? They could also be doji sandwiches for expansion, right? So just something to keep in mind there. Double doji, and then we got that expansion right there, and then another push here. So it's so it definitely is looking very bullish. You could look. This is one of those ones that you could look to try to buy pullbacks. I like that it's broken over $10 right now. So the volume is really starting to pick up on it. Institutions could start to being interested in it. Again, I think the news that's on it is like the CEO is talking about selling and all that stuff. But either way, whatever's happening, there's definitely some interest going on. So yeah, it's one that you can look at for sure for some potential on that one. And then let's take a look at Facebook. I know this looks. Hold on. How about I hit enter? Oh, there we go. Okay, so Facebook was on. This is the weekly chart. Oh my goodness, I really apologize, Nudie Poo. I was on the even the weekly chart's looking good. Sorry, let's go back to the daily. Obviously very strong. Yeah, so today, huge bar, right? So this just represents what happened over the last couple of weeks that we saw in those large range bars. But today, yeah, lots of stuff going on here. The news today. It says it's down at, after hours because of Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, so it got a big move on some Bitcoin, and then on pace for largest percent increase. CEO trying to retail. I guess it got Bitcoin kind of helped it a little bit. But then Bitcoin kind of crashed after hours too, so that is interesting. Let's take a look there. Sorry for jumping through that. I really thought for a second I was on the daily chart. Yeah, so it got a little bit of a drop there because of Bitcoin, but it looks like it's kind of stabilizing. I think there's a lot of money coming into this right now. You can see all the heavy volume here today, just lots of buying. Every pullback was definitely buyable. I know it's a 3-minute chart, but still it's very. I mean, they were buying everything today on this, every pullback. So very, very interesting on that. So we'll see if it gets any follow through tomorrow. Good. And Facebook. Gosh, futures are strong, huh? That's why it's tough. It is tough. I don't like shorting anything overnight. If I swing something, I really prefer going long. And it is just because it's just with plunge protection team and all that stuff. I mean, they just always buy things up. Now Facebook is a little bit different. It was kind of down this morning when everything else was gapping up because what is it, got like a tweet that the government should sue them and all that stuff. And so this is looking really weak right now. We have this upward trend line, right? It broke the upward trend line yesterday, and gave it a lower pivot, and today it broke below that lower pivot. So that is a very bearish signal. To me, it looks like it still could possibly test this cloud, and then possibly get to the 50 moving average. And if it gets below the cloud, watch out below. Here's a prior downward trend line that it had. So I would look to at least see some support down there, maybe around like 177. But it is still bearish to me, so for sure. Session, what's happening? So DBX. DBX has kind of been out there. I think some traders were circulating chatter that they might get bought out by like Microsoft or something like that. But we do have inside bar today on the daily, right? So just use those as levels. Now it is a pretty big range, for DBX. Normally it trades like these 32-cent ranges and stuff like that. So just be careful with that. But a potential breakout to the upside could lead to those back to those highs on that one. And then Xilinx. So tricky. This thing has been so hard to trade. We have an inside day here, so just going to go to that inside bar. Look what happened when it broke to the downside. Nice move, right? Not saying these happen all the time, but when they do, like here's an inside bar right here that broke to the upside. A really, really nice move, right? That's why we like those bars, just because, like I said, it was indecision, and then once price decides which way it wants to go, sometimes it does it with some momentum, right? Then here we go, topping tail off of the cloud. And then still closed over the 50 moving average. Just be careful of this. If it rejects the 50 moving average, it might kind of start to come back down. At least kind of test these 108 levels on that. And then team. Another inside A. Very nice. So let's take a look at this. We had this upward trend line that we drew recently. So it is holding that, still bullish until proven otherwise. So therefore a break on to the upside on this one could give you some strength. Session, Diz is the king of inside days. Yes, it is. Now whether it's the king of inside breaks, I don't know. But let's take a look. It did do some very interesting things recently, right? So yeah, it had an inside day yesterday, broke up today. Inside day down here, that worked its way up, right? Let's see. Before the big gap, it finally started getting. Oh my gosh! Excuse me. My wife was yawning in the background and got me yawning. But let's see. So we have this here. Was it an inside week? Not quite. Before here, but yeah, that big push right there. It was a harami though, so that's when the real body is contained by the real body here. Can be traded similarly to an inside bar itself. Yeah, but it is the king of the inside bar. So, but again, the follow through it's got to get the follow through. So can we check Diz? Yeah, absolutely, Sarah. So here's Diz. So like I said, right here, we talked about it yesterday. Right, it looked like a possible little bear flag going on here, so just be careful of that if this breaks down. But it's still holding this upward trend line, and that was all the way before that big gap up. And so as long as it holds this trend line, right, the trend is still up. In fact, this is today you can see it kind of came down, touched it, and then moved up. Right, so as long as it holds this upward trend line, the trend is still up. Right, so definitely even here, if you enter today, you can just kind of trail bar by bar on that because it looks like it still wants to at least try to test those highs. Robin, how's it going? Good to see you. So let's see. So we've got Diz that's already been taken care of. But let's take a look at lots of Diz fans tonight. So we got QQQ. Well, it's summer. We all want to go to Disney World. I don't know if anybody's down there, but right now. But I saw the temperature today in Florida, like on the Weather Channel, and it was like 96 degrees down there. So pretty warm today. So really cool about the QQQ is that this was a morning star reversal, right? So this is a big morning star right here, but the gap down below the prior bar. It would have been nice to see a bigger bar here, but then it pushed up over 50% of this bar, and then that gave that nice move to the upside. So QQQ, was this a double inside day, Lou? No, not quite. Almost a double inside day right there. I have a whole separate set of strategies for the double inside days because they do get exciting. But here we had this inside day today. It is a kind of an inside shooting star. So just be careful with that. But they're both red, so just watch if it breaks to the upside. It might get a really big green push off of it. So so inside bar on that one. So just be careful. If it does break down, it's below it. It could easily fill this gap, tag the 50 moving average, tag the cloud, consolidate a little bit, and then work its way up. Maybe after the G20 next week. And let's take a look at Roku. I remember when Roku came out, like as soon as it came out, I thought Apple was going to buy them out. So it's kind of interesting. They recently got Amazoned a little bit. Like Amazon's like going to do more increased competition for streaming devices. So this is kind of happening here. It's actually really nasty. This bar right here is like a momentum shooting star, right? So that means that after this big move down, right, it's basically kind of like a doji sandwich to the downside. So just be careful with Roku. I would look potentially for a break of the down, right, of the low of the day with a stop over here. Is potential. I mean, it's a big range. It's a 4-point range. So I mean, don't even mess with it. But put spread, something that could work. But you got that lower Bollinger Band here at like 89, 50 moving average here at 83. But it is just not looking good, right? So it filled this gap yesterday. It's got another gap it could fill down here eventually. So someone needs to prop it up. Otherwise, it looks like it's almost free falling. So just be careful with that. So what's happening? Tesla and Nvidia. There you go. These are the two fun ones to trade, right? Because they can both move when they're ready. Tesla, though, down 49 cents today. This gave an outside bar. It's kind of a, we could do a different discussion on that, on outside bars. Basically the topping tail off the 50 moving average right there. It's kind of like a holy grail short setup right there. So very, very weak bar. In fact, I'll move this alert over here. Because a break below that, I think, could probably test this 210 level. Because it's like off of the cloud and off of the 50 moving average, right? And it broke down out of this upward trend line. So Tesla's looking pretty weak, especially if it breaks down this 215. Down it could go. Nvidia, on the other hand, got a real big sympathy play today with MU. And just launched, right? So not only did it gap up, but it pushed, right? A little topping tail off of its 50 moving average, but it stayed green, and it's back above the pitchfork finally, right? So really, really bearish day right here. Only to, that's one of the reasons it gaps and goes, right? So let's just take a look real quick here. So here's what happens, right? It's really easy to see on the hourly chart. So everybody would agree that this is bearish, right? Then you include some of your geometric levels, like the pitchfork, right? It kind of comes off of that, pivots off of that, and it's like pushing its way through the cloud. I mean, this is extremely bearish. So you got to imagine that there are a lot of folks, whether they're algorithms, or retail traders, that are trying to short this, right? It's been on our short radar a lot. Okay, so this is why we don't trade through. Sometimes these semiconductors, they trade in sympathy with each other, right? Like AMD today, Nvidia, off of MU. Of the MU earnings, right? So that's these are things that you just have to know, as traders, like what's going to happen in the same sector. Like, is there a big earnings coming out? Is there an announcement coming out, right? That could affect it, right? So that's why it's always careful. So always be careful. So if MU beats, then this is what happens, right? So now what happens is it gaps up here, right? Maybe pushes down a little bit, but anybody who is short here gets caught, right? And anybody who is short here gets caught. Right? Anybody who's short there gets caught, right? And then suddenly you have this level right here, which is a pretty big level, right? So anybody who's short there, right, is going to get caught if it pushes through it. So that gives you that extra momentum, right? So it comes down, and then everybody is caught. And then, so what happens? Everybody who's caught covers their shorts. And then, then the pros or the algos, whatever, comes in, they're like, hey, it's broken this level. I want, momentum move. And that was a huge move on Nvidia. So it's really important when we've done a whole series on gappers before. Look, this happened right here too. right? It's kind of like coming up for the day, oh, down below the VWAP, really, really bad. People get short right before the next day, and then, oh, they got caught. And what happened? They got caught right at the gap right here. So anybody who was here was covering, and they covered enough where these people start covering, and then, oh no, then we're in the gap right here, and these people start covering, and look at that bar. Right, 7-point range. That was a couple days ago, so really, really big bar. And then had another one today. So NVIDIA is a master at doing that, right? So, so just keep that in mind. It's something good to look at going forward. And then BA. Who bought puts on BA overnight? Goodness gracious. So it wouldn't have been a bad idea, right? Because it had already, a lot of the news had already come out here with some big volume. This bottom wick right here is just shorts covering just retail traders. And so I'm sorry, it could be like institutions or trade desks and all that stuff. So anyway, more bad news after hours, down to 368. I mean, Boeing is such a drama stock right now, and so just have to just be careful with this thing. So it's down. We'll see how it is tomorrow, but it's definitely going to be a 15 orb for tomorrow. So and then just the daily, just couldn't get over the pitchfork, and it looks like it wanted to get through the cloud, but if it's down here, it might get a little bit stuck, right? Then might eventually break down until it gets to earnings again. And I don't think earnings are going to be good. They can't be that good coming up. So if they're smart, they'll announce them ahead of time like Apple did, and then maybe they'll get like a little recovery bounce or something like that. But we'll see how smart they are. Yeah. And then no problem. My pleasure. Call Saul. Good stuff. Session MMM. This is a facepalm stock right here that gets me every time I see it, because once my trend line comes up here, you'll see this had this perfect downward trend line after it missed on earnings. They missed on earnings. They're like, oh, we're laying everybody off and blah blah blah, and then it gets really nasty. And then it just keeps going. But look at this. It's still following the downward trend line, and then finally here it breaks above it, right? And then that gives us the minor pivot, and then it breaks above here. So, I mean, really the entry was nice this day. It's somewhere around 161, a little bit of a pullback, and up to 174. So at this point, we've got an inside day. So we'll see. We'll see if it, continues this trend, to the upside. I mean, here's your trend. Let's actually see if the trend is still in place. So here's your low. Here's your high. You go to the next pivot. And there you go. Trend is still in place. There's your first pullback, second pullback. You might get a little bit of a bounce, up to that kind of 178 level. So keep an eye on that. Jason, what's happening? Possible doji sandwich for shop. That is what I'm talking about. Shopping for doji sandwiches. Yeah, on the short side for sure. Nasty move here. Doji, possible move down. 50 moving average is right here at 271. And what we can do is we can do a quick P-fib, which is like what we like to call them, as we call the PRHK fibs. So there, the close, back up. And where's your 127.2? So a nice possible target tomorrow is that level, that 276 or 277. If it breaks down. And keep in mind, trading this, it is below this trend line right now. So, the short would be below the close with a stop up here. So obviously, know your risk and all that stuff. So you're at 288 with a stop at 295. And that's pretty stout, right? That's a pretty big stop. But it could work. It could push. So we'll see. Still got a nice little gap to fill right here, which happens to be at the 127.2. So it should be interesting to see how that behaves. Good. Yes, possible short for MDB, TTD, and Align. I see. So MDB. Put a weird symbol in there. MDB. Ba 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 ba. Yeah, it just looks just horrible. I was at three black crows, after a hanging man break, the double hanging man break. I mean, so it looks pretty rough. I mean, 50 moving average there at 145.5. TTD. Yep. I mean, like I said, it probably is going to eventually want to return to the scene of the breakout right here. This was, you can see, I've got that. I called it a double inside we. Why did I do that? Hello. Weak. There we go. A little misspelling there. So that was the double inside week high. You can see where it broke out right here. Right, nice push with your stop right down there. Nice move to the upside. Pull back. So that was like a 1-2, this actually could be an ABC, so this could be 1, 2. Just be careful, right? It might pull back a little bit, but if it is following some sort of Elliott wave, it might work on like a wave 3 up. So I don't even think there's any real news on this, but it is possible we have this double top right here that at least retests this double inside week level, right? A little more price discovery down there before the breakout. Huge volume on that, though. I remember looking at it that day. It was great. And then ALGN. Yeah, just nasty. Just nasty. It's got some support levels here. You have this old fib line here. I mean, it's got kind of some support here at this 266. So just be careful with that. It might kind of get here and then eventually kind of consolidate. So just be careful with the line on that. So best kept secret. How do you measure the NR bar? You just look at the range. So right up here in this this upper window, right, you've got your what day it is. You got the opening price, the high, the low, the close, and then the R right here is the range. Okay. So when I hold over the bar, and you can use this in other trading software too, it says that the range here is 9.88, range here is 9.01, range here is 7.29. So far that's the narrowest range yet. So then you just can kind of visually spot it. So that was 7.29. How is this one? 8.1. So this is the narrowest range day in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7.06. All right, so the narrowest range in 5 days. So you could call this an NR4, right? It wasn't inside, but this was a little doji sandwich right here, right? Spinning top sandwich, but big bar, pause, then 2 big bars right after it. So that's how you do it. You just kind of spot it that way. Here's a pretty narrow range bar right here, 6.08. That was 7.11, 7.07. So this is a perfect NR7 bar right here, right? Failed to break to the upside. So this is sort of like a line, right? How it failed to break in one direction and then came back in. Right, and then look at the move it got after that. Really, really nice. So it can be tricky. I mean, it ain't guaranteed like one way or the other, but there's a high probability that it could break out one way or the other. So the NR7s, kind of just tell you something's going to move, right? So in general, if the sentiment was up, this is an annoying Pinocchio bar, right there. That takes out stops if you're here or here. But then it gave a real nice signal to go short after that. Best kept secret, and just the range of the bar. Exactly, just the range. And then SMDC4S, what is up? Big MCC day today, McClellan Oscillator Day, coming up at -2-1. So large range day coming Thursday or possibly Friday with rebalance. That's right. Yeah, there's some rebalance going on, IWM, things like that. Good, and thanks for I always appreciate when you give those heads up too, because just let me know when we can go. We're ready to go long. So let us know when we can buy the dip. Yeah, that's great, and I really hope we get a good range today, and I hope we can actually catch a good level tomorrow too. So I do enjoy those. Wendy, good morning. Good morning in Singapore. Hope everything's good. Tesla, I don't know if you caught it a little bit earlier, but we started to look at it. Yeah, we looked at it. It gave that topping tail. So topping tail day. Took out a couple bars here, right under the 50-moving average. So it might get to this kind of 210 level. I think if it gets under 215, then I think we see 210. So lots of resistance here, 50-moving average, and the cloud. But it's Tesla, so always use caution with it. So, and then MU, thanks for bringing that up. So MU today, a big gap up, right? So still very bullish bar to close the day. Let's take a look at the 15 orb. I don't remember if it did much today. Let's see, we're right here. Yeah, maybe we got a little bit kind of scalpy right here, but here's your 15 orb, right? You kind of hold this inside bar right here, and then stop it below here. So it's really 36.79. Eventually went up to got a 1 point off of MU is still pretty good, just off of this inside bar right here. So this is a strategy that we do in the positive trends group, elite service, and the idea is we look for price action within the 15 orbs too, not just the breakout, right? So if we can find some good action in there, we can still trade it. And Casey, Shirley, what's going on? Yeah, so NVIDIA, awesome. Yeah, we just took a look at that. So yeah, with today's breakout, that could be good. QCOM. Yeah, just a little bit of pullback there, but it's okay just to to kind of move things around. But yeah, in general, nice belt hold bar day. And yeah, if you can get a cloud break on this, You're good. Look how it's filling this gap real nicely. It gets over the 50 MA. You got this nice gap up here at 79. Yeah, you could get action out of QCOM for sure. AABEA. Yeah, it could do it. So you're over the 50-moving average. Kind of top tick the cloud. Just be careful with it. AABA is it's Baba, right? It's the Yahoo. It's Yahoo, right? But Baba owns them, right? So it trades just like Baba. So right, very very similar setup, right? So it's kind of nasty. We got G20 coming up. So this is one that if you have like a low risk on it, like maybe a lotto or something after G20, this is one that could launch, right? This or Baba. But I wouldn't do anything with Chinese names, except a total lotto play. AD&T, and by lotto I mean like whatever you buy, like in an out of money option or something like that, you're absolutely willing to lose the entire amount. So something cheap like a lottery ticket with the chance for a big win. And you can look at a straddle too, but not on those, not for me. But yeah, big move here on AD&T. Let's go to our other chart. So remember that channel that we had for a long time? Nice break it out of that channel, kind of retested the gap, and then working its way up. So that looks nice. TXN. Texas Instruments. Deep in the heart of Texas. All right, let's see. So we got this here. There's your high. There's your pivot. Trend is up until proven otherwise. So the levels are good there. DB. Tough. This is a tough stock to trade, surely. It is. They're always embroiled in some sort of takeover, shutdown, massive fraud type stuff. So just be careful with this one. So yeah, it did gap up, so it's looking nice. But don't forget it is an foreign type ADR type thing. So just very very gappy. So just be careful with that one. EGO. Ego. Oh yeah, Eldorado Gold. Big move. Gold's been on fire. Trend is up until proven otherwise. Regini, how's it going? QD. Ugh. Remember we talked about this the other day? We talked about this kind of megaphone formation that was happening. Look at that. Totally rejected that kind of top end of it right there. This could have been drawn like this. Oh no, that's fine. That's good. So yeah, just be careful. Could get down here to the 5s. FB. We looked at FB a little bit earlier. But in general, it's pretty bearish looking. It's got a little support with the cloud underneath it, but if it breaks down, we could get there. So, but just to kind of show you real quick, right? Broke this upward trend line, right? And broke the minor pivot that broke that upward trend line, and it's got a gap here and a gap here. So it does look bearish. And then CRM. CRM, I just can't even mess with this stock. It's just so hard to trade. It really is. You had this triangle right here, try to break up, it's back down, it's kind of in this range. It did have an inside day, so that is something that could be attempted. S-Bucks, if you like living on the edge. Or go to Starbucks. And it is finally breaking out of this range. Wow. That deserves an alert and to go on the watch list for a potential short. I'm liking it. Thank you for pointing this one out. So Starbucks, and that is going on the game plan. Nice. So yeah, a break below today's lows could start to work its way back down as a trend change. And Walmart. So much stuff, it's like you have all these great ideas. It's so hard to keep track of all of them, right? That's why we have alerts, but unless you have like a big portfolio or something, and sometimes it's hard to keep track of everything. But here's Walmart, right? The weekly chart was like super extended here with anytime you're overbought on the weekly on the RSI and you're over the upper Bollinger Band or vice versa, right? With the oversold and under the lower Bollinger Band, right? You look for a potential short, right? So Walmart is still far working on that. That's where it was the other day, and it's kind of working its way down. Now it's super strong. It's been getting bid up a lot. Might just consolidate at these levels, but still, it was definitely worth a short there. At this point, maybe a break below today's low could get some more downside movement. So. SNEC4C, yes. Saul, buddy, be careful with BA, not to hold overnight. Intraday is fine. Yeah, you just never know what's going to happen with Boeing overnight. Satvic, what's happening? Good to see you. Shop, yep. So Shop we looked at a little bit earlier, but we'll pull it up again here. Yeah, so it was called out as potential doji sandwich. It broke below this upward trend line. And it has a gap to fill right here. So potential target is 274 and 10 cents. Right, just be careful. It's a very large ranges, so setting stops and all that stuff. You gotta be careful. No problem, Robin. My pleasure. It is my pleasure. Sarah, you're in Tampa, and it is hot. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I still live in St. Pete. I liked it down there. That was a long time ago, though. And yeah, that's a beautiful area. It's grown so much. I haven't been there in a long time, 20 years. But yeah, nice. Yeah, hot. It looked so hot. But it's a nice hot. I like that humid hot. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it's hot. Especially if you go to the beach and all that stuff. But yeah, very hot, very hot. So SNDC4 yes. Let's see. We've got Apple. Tim Cook is too cheap and has bought many things that he could have early on. Roku, Diz, to name a couple. Yeah, Diz would have been crazy. But yeah, it was way too cheap. So Roku's now getting up there, huh? And then NVIDIA, two reasons it popped is one is MU and the other is Bitcoin. Great point. Yeah, that makes sense with the overstock too. Yeah, Bitcoin, duh. Nice. BA may warn on ER soon, and perfect day would be either 7.3 or 7.4 or 7.5 rather. Yeah, off. Not on the 4th, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, if they're smart, they'll do it. Best kept secret, perfect. Thank you, got it. Awesome. As an easy first, the MOC orders were about Russell, correct? Rebalance of huge orders, both buys and sells on the Russell, yes. And then Apple has a shot at Netflix, 90% lower. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Netflix needs to go down. I mean, it's just I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Apple would buy Netflix. Netflix has got I don't know. I don't know. No comment, I guess. But inside day on Netflix, so we'll see. Apple should be able to do their own service, but Regini, so ignore the above messages. Oh, no problem. Yeah, sorry, I got through it. It's like you said, ignore it after the above, but it's cool. Len, SQ. What's going on, Len? SQ? Inside day at the cloud. So, yeah, so just be careful here. But, could be finding some support here. So it's got a little bit of kind of a zone right here. Might test a little bit lower, but this is not one I'm just looking to just go all short in. It might be a good one to just wait for maybe another breakout on or something. Just kind of lower it there. Just kind of see if it kind of gives you a little pennant break eventually. MTCH, Little Joey, Lee Joey, sorry, Little Joey, Lee Joey, Mitch in 5. Yep, Match.com in 5. This looks really, really tricky to trade. So it is holding the cloud right here and the 50. So as long as it gets over today's midpoint level, the 67.50, you could see another push there. And 5, not 5, 5. Interesting. Harami. Harami is where the real body is contained within the real body of the prior bar. So you see it's not an inside bar because you did have a wick below it, but here it is. It's the Harami is like a Japanese term for pregnant, right? So here is little baby inside the mother, right? So so that's kind of the idea here, just the real bodies, right? So it does look interesting. It seems to be kind of stabilized right here. You've got some volumetric support right here. So a break over today's high or even today's open could give a little bit of push to the upside. Bruce, what's happening? Hess. Yeah, this is the one we were talking about. This got a big move. A lot of oil stocks got big ones today. So this was a big move, right? Big push out of the cloud today, so very bullish, right? I think COP had a big day. ConocoPhillips had a big day. Let's see, Exxon did not. But a lot of the kind of the littler ones did. Let's see, CVX. Exxon's been having other issues, like stuff in the Middle East and all that stuff. And CVX usually kind of follows right behind it, but inside days on both of those. But yeah, Hess, I mean, you got a big move. Oil had that big, inventory drawdowns. Gosh, futures are up 10 already. Goodness gracious. To me now, that's fadeable tomorrow. I just feel like, I don't know if we're ready to buy the dip yet. I'd rather buy the dip if we gap down. And then oil here is kind of working on, it's kind of like an inside bar right here, but really big rips in the oil futures. So, but Hess, I mean, it is above the clouds, so just kind of keep an eye on it. That was the move, though. It's hard to buy right here because it's it's been through all of this since the reversal, right? But now it's got a gap below, 1-2 gaps below. Just kind of see how it holds that 64.50 level at the cloud. Is this kind of, yeah, this is actually kind of an island reversal here. So you have this gap right here. So it's actually, technically an island bottom, right? So just, it could be interesting. It could be interesting to keep on the radar. Walmart is going to do a prime type day sale. Nice. That is big. Not now on Netflix, but could have had it cheap. Oh yeah, totally. Bruce on the way to Dollywood. Have fun. That's awesome. Have a great time. CVX plus 0.23, yes. Len, hey Bubble, at what year did you see true consistency in my trading? So everybody's got a different path, right? Some people don't see consistency for 5 years, others don't see it for 10 years. I had no choice but to have it. So I got laid off a little over a year and a half ago, and was forced to trade full time to pay bills and take care of my family. And so you get really, really good at managing risk, and so that is about the time where I started to find consistency because I had no choice, right? Because I'm like, what am I going to do? Go all in, do like a YOLO trade on some options, and then be completely blow up an account and be completely unable, right, to generate income, or do I just find the methods that work for me and stick with it? So that's really the key, is to find what it is, your favorite setups, right? And it could be one or two, and focus on those, right? So I can't remember the trader's name off the top of my head. I can't remember, the name's kind of slipping me, but what she said is you can make a living off of one setup, right? So you find one setup that you really like, and then you can really develop a trading methodology around that, a trading plan, right? So if you say your one setup, it takes a long time to catch these. Is it like an island reversal or island bottom? Okay, so you only trade those. Well, when you trade those, you need to know what your percentages are, how accurate they are by back testing it and all that stuff. But if every time you trade an island reversal, you make here, that could be a huge trade for you every time it happens, right? So it just is. You just have to find what is your niche, what you're comfortable with. There's so many different techniques, and we've reviewed hundreds of those here, on the YouTube channel. Just to kind of show everybody finds comfort in different levels, different time frames, different strategies. So you just have to find what kind of fits your trading style, right? And once you find that, then you get that consistency, and it could take a year, it could take 2 years, 3 years, it could take a week. I mean, really, seriously, if you find something you like, and then just work on that, and then you can slowly, as you continue to trade that setup, you can slowly increase your sizing, and then as long as it fits your trading plan and you can control your risk, then you increase your income. So. But yeah, 0.29, yeah, definitely oil draw down. That is correct. So no energy in oil yet. This is true. So best kept secret, awesome talk. Well, thank you, best kept secret. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Great discussion tonight. Really appreciate everybody's participation, and looking forward to an awesome trading day tomorrow. Thursday is usually my favorite day to trade. So it should be a good one. Should be fun. So hope everybody does well too. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon. No problem, Len. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.